Are you going to talk to Mueller?
I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Do you have a date set?
Just so you understand. There's been no collusion whatsoever. There's no obstruction whatsoever. And I'm looking forward to it.
That was President Trump 2 weeks ago, seeming optimistic about a potential sit-down interview with special counsel Robert Mueller's team as part of its Russia investigation. Since then, Fox News has reported that President Trump's lawyers were leaning against the idea. They worry the president could get caught in a so-called perjury trap. And now a new report, they have advised the president to reject a possible request for a sit-down with the special counsel. If denied an interview, Mueller could subpoena the president to testify before a grand jury, prolonging the probe. So, Judge, the last time we were on the show together, you had mentioned that Michael Flynn, you believe he got caught in a perjury trap.
Yes.
Do you think that President Trump is subject to the same fate?
Yes, I do. I think even more so. The president who, being diplomatic, does not always use an economy of words and has strong opinions on so many things, is likely to get in a Q&A with his interrogators, who might be Bob Mueller or might be FBI agents, which will get him in trouble. So, look, they could limit the scope of this conversation just to one topic. But if the president's answer veers off that topic, then the questioner can ask about the answer. And the president is not always disciplined when it comes to answering. So the standard advice is you don't talk to a guy who owns a grand jury, and Bob Mueller has too, meaning he can take what you said that contradicted other things, present it to the grand jury, and get you indicted for lying to the FBI, which is what happened to Papadopoulos and Flynn.
So what options then does Mueller have on the table to utilize? Let's say President Trump says, I'm not going to sit down with you to the advice of counsel. Then what does Mueller do?
Okay, so now it flips. Bob Mueller wants to interrogate the president because he wants to know what his thinking is. He also doesn't want to put the president before a grand jury without knowing what the president's going to say. So if the president doesn't agree to the initial interview, question, will Bob Mueller subpoena him before a grand jury, having no idea what the president will tell the grand jury? That's a dangerous environment for Mueller.
Well, it is, and I would imagine it would be Mueller's last resort. So what are some of the other dance moves that we can see him try between that and a subpoena? Would he agree to maybe a short time, an hour or two with the president? Like, what are some of the other things he might offer
I would
up?
think that the president's lawyers are trying to negotiate an interview limited in duration and limited in subject matter. And they will try to prepare the president for the interview by persuading him and talking
and maybe
to him
writing the rest of it out
short
in terms
answers.
of written questions.
I think written questions is not going to be helpful because basically the lawyers will write the answers to those questions. If Bob Mueller has gaps in his case against the president, whether it involves a conspiracy to help the Russians hack Hillary, or whether it involves obstruction of justice, those gaps can be filled by the answers President Trump gives in the interview. That's why he should never, ever, ever submit to that interview.
Well, and Melissa, isn't the president sort of damned if he does, damned if he doesn't? Because let's say, he doesn't want to sit down with Mueller, then the left and the media are going to say, well, he has something to hide. He said that he was going to. So where does the president go from here?
I mean, if it were me or a member of my family, I wouldn't go. Even if I knew I was innocent, I wouldn't go. I would do everything I could not to go unless I was forced to go, and then you're forced to go, you got to go. But I think that he covered himself a little bit with that soundbite we just heard. I mean, I sort of interpret that as, I'm going to go, I'm absolutely willing to go, and then later he could say, my lawyer told me not to. I want to. I told you I wanted to before. So that's kind of how I read that,
but the optics of that, I mean, for a president and a team who have said over and over and over again, there's no collusion, there's no obstruction, we have nothing to hide, we're totally innocent. It's not just going to be the left, I think, that says, oh, if you're totally innocent, why aren't you coming forward and answering questions?
If you have a brain in your head, you're not going to go and sit down and make yourself vulnerable, even if you haven't done anything.
Bill Clinton, as president, had to do it. Now, they negotiated. They came to the White House.
I don't think anybody's holding their breath on what a former president had to do.
There's
a
precedent for a sitting president under investigation being interviewed.
There's also polling out there that shows that I believe it's north of 70% of people had said that they would like to sit down, like to see the president sit down with Mueller. So you saw the president, not just in this one soundbite, but really over the course of the last week or two, say, absolutely want to. If you've ever been involved in any sort of legal case, it's fine if your attorneys tell you that's what you're paying them to do. They're supposed to tell you what's best for you.
Let me suggest that the president has such self-confidence in his ability to deal with the political side of this he should defer to his lawyers on the legal side.
Absolutely.
He's got to protect his political flank and his legal flank.
Well,
he can deal with the political flank. Let the lawyers deal with the legal flank.
We're going to leave it there, Judge. Thank you.